Hello YouTube, SentinalhMC here, and welcome to Planetbase. So this is a game that I was really excited to get a code for, because I saw Quill18 play it, and it looks really cool. So here we are. So Planetbase, this is a base building resource management game on, well, ostensibly Mars. I gotta get going pretty quick here because there's no way to pause the game once you're in it. So this is a game about building structures and keeping your colonists alive. We're trying to colonize this planet, which is basically Mars. So the first thing I want to do is build an oxygen generator. So you can build these buildings, and if you use the mouse wheel, you can actually build bigger or smaller versions of most of the buildings in the game. We're just going to put our oxygen generator down. Now, you can't actually control directly any of your people. They just sort of do the tasks that are available. I need to put a water extractor on this oxygen generator so that it can work. And you see that green line. The way that you build structures is you can place them and then you select two and create a connection. Alright, and connections actually do cost resources, so you've got to really plan your base out well, because if you space buildings too far apart, well then the connections will be too expensive and you'll run out of resources. So now these guys are going to build the structures. Now as soon as I stick an airlock on this, because see, the oxygen generator is an interior structure, and you can tell because of the glass around it. If we push this button, we can make the glass go away, so you can see inside. So these guys will have to go inside this area here in order to get oxygen. But now we need to power the thing. So we'll build a medium solar panel. I don't like building the small solar panels. I want to build a medium. And we'll just place it right here, and we'll connect it up there. See, it's a small connection, so it only takes one metal. This is a game about managing your resources. You really have to be very careful, because you have a very limited amount of resources at the beginning. You build a power collector, and you're going to build a big one. So what you have to watch out for is, if you're not careful, to just spend all your resources. And if you spend all your resources and you don't have the machines and facilities you need to be self-sufficient yet, you are totally screwed. I also really like how the things build. All the models in this game look really nice. And they just sort of rise up out of the ground, which I think is a very simple but elegant way to do it, because the buildings, it looks really cool. So now you have a solar panel. Our power grid consumes 5.3 kilowatts and produces 50 kilowatts. So we're good on that. We're currently generating full power because we have a solar panel and it's the middle of the day. However, at night, we will not have, obviously, solar power. So the other type of power is wind power. We are going to build a medium wind turbine. But the thing about wind power is that it's definitely not as reliable as solar. Currently, there are no 100% uptime, I guess I could say, power generation buildings. There is no geothermal. There's no. We're on another planet, so we obviously don't have like gas engines or anything. But now we're producing oxygen, and so if you see, our people are going inside the building, and then they can. Anyway, we need to build a canteen so they can eat food. We're going to build it right there. So you just go through and you build your structures and you connect them to stuff, and we've got a bunch of colonists. If I click this button up here, I can see my stats. We've got 7 colonists, and we've got 2 robots. A carrier robot who carries resources around, and a constructor bot which can build structures in the same way that the engineer can. Alright, so the medic will keep everyone healthy, the engineers will build stuff, the biologists will tend to our crops once we have them, and workers, they mine resources, they carry stuff around. They're your all-purpose workforce. See, and if you notice, people will have little triangles over their head based on their needs. Alright, you see we've got a problem at the moment. Kind of. There we go. We're overloaded is what it calls it. Because there's no wind and it's now nighttime, which means we're now drawing power from our power collector. So I really hope the wind kicks up, because we don't have enough power in this collector to last us all night, I don't think. Because we're currently producing 0. This is a really cool game though, and I really like the aesthetic, and I think it looks really nice. Alright, so hopefully we have enough power to make us through. There's meteors striking the surface, and they can hit us, so we do have to watch out. There we go, the windmill's starting to turn. Come on, wind. This is the wind reading over here, the little windsock. The higher this is, of course, the more power our wind turbines produce. It produces a lot of power during sandstorms. Because this is basically Mars. So there are a lot of sandstorms. Okay, he built the canteen, but now the robot needs to build the actual connection hallway. Very nice. So now the canteen's been built. This is a building, and I like this mechanic. Some buildings have stuff that you have to build inside of them. And see that you saw the oxygen level just even out. Just there. And then it has to climb back up. And as the buildings turn this color, it recognizes the oxygen. So if the interior spaces are red, it means they don't have enough oxygen. Okay, so we have to click this button up here in order to edit the contents of the canteen. We can build stuff. Like we can put a table here, and we can put a drinking fountain there. We can also put a meal maker right here. And we need to place something for morale, so we're going to place a video screen. And we're going to place our video screen right there. So now they'll go ahead and they'll build that stuff, and then they'll be able to use that stuff. All of our starting resources are stored in the colony ship. So if you notice, we currently have this much metal and a bunch of bioplastic. These are our 2 main resources, bioplastic and metal, and then everything else is made out of those. We have meals, we have some spare parts, everything needs to be maintained with spare parts. And we have some medical supplies. Now the airlock is kind of slow, so people are queuing up at the airlock. I don't know why multiple people can't go into the airlock at once, like it would make sense. Anyway, that's going there. So they're going to build all the stuff that's in this room. So the carrier robots are carrying the resources over. These people really want to eat some foods. I'm going to go ahead and build another structure. I'm going to build the dorm. I would really like to place the dorm right up against this. Oh, wait, I got a connection to the oxygen. There we go. Now the dorm is an interesting structure. Some structures can only have one connection to them, like one hallway, and no more than that, and this is one of them. Where is he going? Oh, he's building that. Come on guys, build the water fountain so you guys can drink some water. I queued it up, but you can't drink until you build it, so you better build it. Alright. I like this game a lot, it's really cool. Okay, so I guess they're going to build it at some point. They need to. So let's go ahead and build another really important structure, and that's the mine. If you spend all of your metal and you don't have any way of making more metal, you're done, basically. You've screwed it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the mine right out here, right as close as I can get to the airlock. Yeah, and see, the mine has to be near the base of a mountain and near an existing structure, All structures have to be near an existing structure. So anyway, if I place the mine right here, I want to connect it to the dorm because it's a short connection. And the connection is only for power anyway. If I connected it to the airlock, it would have done the same thing. Well, it's still a medium connection. But it would have probably been a large connection, which would have cost me more resources to build. And I don't want to spend more metal than I have to just building a connection. Now the reason I want my mine as close to the airlock as I can is because it's an exterior structure. Workers have to leave the base through the airlock and then go to the mine to work it. And then they come back. And the resources have to be carted from the airlock to the base. So now the oxygen generator is refilling the structure. So on the oxygen generator, like there's a lot of information you've got to learn in this game. This little O2 symbol here, this is the number of people that we can support off of one small oxygen generator. We can support 20 people. Alright, I need to build some more structures. I need to get a biodome built. Whoa, there was an impact. I need to get a biodome built as quickly as possible. Well, I should have been building it sooner. I was talking about it. Do I want to put it there, or do I want to come around this way? No, I want to make the base. I want to lead the base over to this larger area. So we'll build a biodome and we'll connect it to the canteen. Okay, let's go into this dorm and actually build a bed, because they can't actually use it until it's bedded. Wow, why is no one drinking water? I mean, you've got plenty of water. If you want water, go drink some water. And they're tired. Well, if you want to sleep, build a bed. I guess that's what they're doing. Okay, so we're running low on metal, so we need to make sure we have a way to produce more. So we've got our mine going on. We're building a biodome, which we need to make food. The mine is up, which means that workers can go inside and they can work it and produce ore. It doesn't produce by itself. Alright, we've reached survival. This is a milestone, and we can left click on this, and it gives us a little overview, and it tells us 1 day after landing our people are still alive. So that's one milestone, having them still alive after 1 day. Now I can't click, or I can hit space, okay. So you can kind of skip that, I think, but they just stay up there. So that's a milestone, and there's 3 planets you can play on in this game, but you have to unlock the other 2, and they're more difficult than this first one. So the way that you unlock those is that you collect milestones. I'm going to build a processing plant, because this is how you make metal. Connect it to the canteen. Because I don't want people that... Ideally, I suppose, I would have placed the processing plant here and the dorm here. Because what happens is I don't want people to have to take too long carting the ore from the mine and taking it to the processing plant. You don't want it to take too long. And in actuality, I could build, if I need to, I could build another airlock over here. I could build a second mine over here. But I don't need that. Because one mine can house a bunch of workers. And one worker is actually very slow. Okay, so the colony ship, we've got 3 metal left. However, we can recycle the colony ship, which will give us more metal. Of course, it'll stick all of our resources out on the ground, and which we don't really want, but... Okay. The initial resources that we get, they will last much longer. All your resources will decay over time if they're not in a storage facility, but these starting resources have been set up to last a lot longer, so that you can do this in the beginning. So now you have a lot more metal because we've scrapped the colony pod. We're just watching these guys walking around. I've played this game a couple times now. What's going on here? This guy's tired. Well, you got beds now. Go sleep. I've played this game a couple times. I've played through a couple of bases. They've all failed after a certain amount of time. It looks like this one will last to the end of the episode. But see, it's kind of like Dwarf Fortress in a way, because once you build a landing pad, you can start getting more colonists. But you need to make sure that those extra colonists aren't going to strain your resources too hard and destroy your base. My first base died after I didn't build a second oxygen generator soon enough, and by the time I queued it up, they weren't building it, and the oxygen level was going down because there were too many people. And it was consuming the oxygen in the rest of the base, and the oxygen levels were just dropping. Okay, so in this processing plant, I want to build a metal processor, because that will allow my engineers to use ore and turn it into metal. And now we have our biodome. I want to produce some crops. So the best crops to produce first are tomatoes, onions, and then we want to produce, there's a couple things you can do here. So these ones here are food plants, the red ones. So you got to have these food plants in order to make meals. The ones up here, the brown ones, are also food, but they're also starchy. And you can use starchy materials to produce bioplastic. So we're going to produce rice because it's fast producing. We can also produce peas. And so the starch is very important. And I'm also going to produce medicinal plants. And these all require bioplastic, except for these trees. I haven't built any trees yet, ever, but apparently you can grow trees and then they will passively produce oxygen. But at night it says they consume oxygen. Okay, these guys are really tired. Okay, I need to build a second bunk. So now I got a second bunk going after they build it. See, these resources, they haven't started to decay yet, but they will. See, high durability, they will last for longer. And they do that as a balancing maneuver, so that the game isn't too overly difficult right at the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to need some more power. I already know that I'm going to need more power. And I like wind turbines because they obviously work at night. What size is this? That's medium. Okay, I don't want to build it large. I need to build another power collector because see, the power collector is full. There we go. Meteor impact. That was really close. Okay, so the rice and stuff's been built, which means that our biologists will now go and they will tend those crops. So let's go over here and build a bioplastic processor, because this will allow us to make bioplastic from our starchy stuff. Very nice. So we're building up the infrastructure. As soon as they construct... Well, see, now we already have the infrastructure to produce our own metal. So we're pretty self-sufficient at the moment. We're almost self-sufficient. In order to gain the self-sufficient milestone, we actually need this bioplastic processor. Because you gain the milestone for being self-sufficient as soon as you're able to produce all of your own resources. And now it's night. And this little thing here shows you how long it is till daytime, I believe. I think that's what that is doing. So, alright, these people need... we need to build a second bed. Because these people are really tired. I don't know if people will actually, like, pass out if they're too tired. I've never had that happen before. So I wouldn't know. So there we go. Our 2 wind turbines are producing twice as much power as we need. I like that, because as we build more buildings, you know, we're going to have a higher power consumption. Alright, so now these guys are... I like that. Look at the animation is really good for them crawling into bed. Look at that. I really like that. There's been a lot of attention to detail paid to this game. I really like the aesthetic. We've reached self-sufficiency. We have the structures in place to sustain our colony. I like how it gives you like a look over your base, and I love this the shadow of the struts on the glass, casting these shadows onto the landscape. Oh, it's just really, really nice. I like the aesthetic. I like how it's detailed. It's very well detailed, but then it's not like, you know what I'm saying? The aesthetic means that it's like simple colors and stuff. But I think that works well. I really like it. Alright, so we can check our resources by going into our stats, and we can see we've got 12 meals. We don't have any vitra meat. We have 0 vegetables. But as our tomatoes and onions are produced, what do we get? Fast production but high maintenance. So you see here, the condition of these plants decreases, and then you need a biologist to go and work on it in order to maintain and upgrade the condition. So we have 2 biologists, which is more than enough. Which is enough, although one of our biologists is currently sleeping. So that one biologist does have to manage it at the moment. So now we're going to build another building. And what we're going to build is the factory. Well, first we're going to build a storage. Because we need a storage. We need to get all those resources out of the outside and get them inside. I want to connect the storage to the processing plant because I think it makes sense. Because this is where resources like metal are going to be produced. And if we have an excess of ore in storage, it's going to be right here. So I think it makes a lot of sense to put the storage near the processing. Although again, if I wasn't in as much of a hurry to build a processing plant, I probably would have put the storage here and then the processing plant there. So you really need to think ahead if you want to fully optimize base layouts. And optimizing your base layouts is a very good idea. I hope both of my biologists are sleeping. No, my engineer. One of my engineers is sleeping, one of my biologists is sleeping. Alright, and you can also increase the speed of the game by pressing your plus button. So I can speed this up to ×4. I've been having it at 1 times because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. But you can speed the game up, which is very good. If you couldn't speed the game up, I wouldn't like the game as much. But kudos to the devs for remembering to include a speed up because it's really, really, really helpful. Right, so we were overloaded for a bit there because the wind was dying down, but now it's daytime. We're good power. Okay, let's go back to 1 because we've just finished our factory. Well, that's the storage. Never mind. That's the storage. I forgot what I was building. So yeah, storage is built. It's got a capacity. I don't know what the capacity is per item, but now that we have the storage, the carrier bots and also basically everyone who doesn't have anything else to do is going to start carrying resources. So you can see now with 2 workers in the mine, we're producing all about this speed. And of course, the more workers... Oh no! Oh my god, that was bad. That was very bad. Alright, I've never actually had a building get hit before. And so now we can see what that did. Alright. So, okay, it wasn't too catastrophic. I was worried that meteor impacts would completely destroy the entire thing, but actually it's not true. It seals it off from everything else until it gets repaired. Wow, these meteor impacts are coming very close. Okay, I was worried that it was going to be able to destroy this connection, but apparently meteors don't actually destroy connections. Don't worry, we aren't going to be at the mercy of these meteors forever. You can build defensive structures. You can build a meteor defense gun, actually. Yeah, let's work on our power. Power production, I think, is fine, but what we need is another power collector. How much metal do we actually have? We have 9 metal. Okay, I think we're actually good on power. I don't want to spend all of my metal on that. One thing why is that still red? I don't know. One thing I do want to build though is I want to build a little water tank, just a small one, because I want to have water storage. I want to have a supply of water that I don't have to worry about. It doesn't matter where I put it. It can be anywhere. But I kind of want it near my water generator just because. But then I don't want it to interfere with stuff I want to build off that biolab, so we'll put it over here. Connect it via the shortest route. That's going to take 2 metal, and that's going to store water, so we can have a storage. Very important in this game, I find, that you have storage, because here's what will happen. If we run out of power, like if our power supply just completely drains, what's going to happen is that this water extractor will stop working. And if we have no water, we can't produce oxygen. So if I have a water tank and it's full of water, I'll have a backup supply of water. And you can turn off non-critical structures in order to keep the critical structures like the oxygen generator running. So the meal maker machine here in the canteen takes our food resources. It can take either a vegetable or a vitromeat and turn it into a meal. Alright, let's build another structure. And the structure that we're going to build is we're going to build the sick bay and we're going to build the lab. So first we're going to build the lab, and I'm going to connect it directly to the side of the canteen. Well, yeah. See, the lab will take in medicinal plants, and it will turn them into. And see, we can build a bigger version if we want. The small lab is perfectly fine. We'll connect it to the canteen. I could connect it here as well, but it's going to take one more bioplastic and one more metal, so it's kind of a luxury. Adding additional connections to make your base flow a bit more smooth is a luxury that I can't afford at the moment. Alright, so how are we doing? Yeah, okay, so you can see here how these are starting to degrade. Normal materials degrade much quicker. Alright, so they will just over time take stuff where to go. Oh, and your robots need to be maintained as well. So an engineer will be able to do that. At some point, one of our engineers will get around to fixing up our little robot guy. So that airlock is kind of far away now from the side of the base where we're building stuff. But I don't think it really, we're in a position right now where we need to build a second airlock. I also like how even if you have the walls down, if you get far enough away, the walls start popping back up. Oh man, I like the game. Let's speed the game up to ×4 so we can build our lab faster. I'm also going to queue up the other building that we need, which is sick bay. People will get injured. There. Okay, it's gonna happen. Okay, so in the lab, we're going to build a workbench. And the workbench is going to allow our medic. And there's also a really, really good information system in this game, which is very nice. Okay. How many spares do we have? We still have 10 spares. So spares are what's used to repair stuff. Now this robot broke down, so we can't actually move anymore. His condition is too low. He's KO. Which means that at some point here, one of our engineer or someone is going to go fix him. What I would really like to do is build a bot facility, and you can build an automatic repair station. So the bots will go to the repair station and they will get repaired automatically. But we're building sickbay because we need sickbay. What we also need is this thing called the control center. And unfortunately, it's kind of expensive, like 2 and 2, but we do need it. I mean, it's not 100% necessary. Okay, sickbay's been built. So now what we want to do is we have to put a bed in it. Just one bed for now. You can put a bunch of beds in it, though, as you can see. So if somebody gets injured, they will go to the sickbay, and the medic can heal them. Without sickbay, they can't get healed. I really wish somebody would fix this robot. Okay, so we're overloaded again. By quite a bit, actually. So I need to. Yeah, that's draining out a pretty quick. There's no water tank. I really like that. You'll be able to see by looking at the water tank how much water is in it. It's really nice. I like how these buildings, like the capacitor and everything, collector, have these visual representations. So you can see at a glance, by just looking at the collector, right, how much power you have in it, and you can look at a glance how much water is in the water tank. I really, really like that. That's a really nice touch. Because it means you don't have to click on it. There's some ore sitting there. Okay, look, our engineer is repairing our robot. Being maintained by Santiago Fox. Very nice. So our robot's being repaired, so now he can get back to work once he's finished being repaired. Let's check our... Oh, time's up. Let's just check our resources, see what we got. 4 metal, 7 bioplastic. But we are harvesting ore, and we currently have 3. just that nobody is working in the middle processor. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this game because I really like it. I'm going to make a couple of videos about this game. If you really like it and you get good views and good engagement, I'll keep the series going because I really enjoy this game so far. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.